Hi and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do an unboxing of some Nepenthes I got from a place called the Scotland Carnivorous Plants. Now this place specialises in Nepenthes, so these are all Nepenthes of varying different types. There's a massive selection on their website. There's something like about 90 pure species and about 180 hybrids. They're not all in stock at any one time, but you know there's a massive selection you could choose from. I was looking to add some more Nepenthes to my collection, so I picked up a one pure species and a whole bunch of about another 7 hybrids. So I'm really looking forward to actually opening this with you. Now, I'd just like to call out the guy who runs the place, called Oliver. He was really helpful for me on this one. The website has some lovely pictures of what the parent plants are going to look like, on occasions the actual junior plants, but not for all of them. And so he was really good in the fact that he took me some pictures of the ones I was interested in, gave me a few recommendations, and actually spent the time doing that. It's difficult to sort of have a good set of pictures on websites because obviously plants grow and therefore they change, and actually what you've got for sale can then not reflect what the actual picture looks like. But like I say, he was really good and he actually did a load of pictures for me so I could actually see what I was actually going to get. And this is not even his full-time job. He's trained to be I think he's a dental student, so it was really good of him to actually do this. And I have to say that's better than some other local sites that I've actually tried to get information from. So without further ado, let's actually start opening the box and see what we got in here. So it's come nicely packed. I think I ordered it on the Wednesday. It appeared on the Thursday by special delivery, so I'm really pleased with that. Let's carefully get my way into the box. It. So we've got my order receipt here. Excellent. So put that there. A nice little card. Lots of packing in here. This is really nice. Some soft packing. And okay, let's have a look. What's the first one we got in here? So this is Nepenthes spathulata crossed with robcantleyi. That's all lovely wrapped in bubble wrap here. So let's carefully get my way into this one. Let's see whether we can actually open it without doing it any damage as we do it. So carefully peel this back. Okay, so that's the bubble wrap. And we've also got it wrapped in what's that, cling film, I guess, to keep the moisture in. So quite a lot of these are relatively small plants. They seem very competitively priced when I compare them against other UK sites selling Nepenthes. So I think they do quite a good deal on these things. that out of the way. And there we have him. That's a lovely looking little plant we got here. It's transported absolutely beautifully, no damage at all. Obviously this will in time grow into what the parent plants or all the pictures you see on the website. I like the fact it's got this little sort of almost like a inflatable ring around it to keep the packing away from the actual plant itself, to keep the trap safe, so that's really nicely packed. Put it there just to check. So we'll just get a little bit closer just so I can make sure it's actually in focus. That looks really nice. Like I say, sometimes it's a bit difficult to tell what they're going to look like when they're quite young, but they will grow into what their sort of adult pictures do show. So let's find something to put this in. I'm just going to, oh, there we go. And the label is stuck to the bubble wrap, so let's take that off before we get them all mixed up. That's a bit unfortunate. So that was spathulata crossed with robcantleyi. I'll take the top what's that masking tape off the compost surface afterwards. So let's dig a bit further in and see what else we find next. So again, still lots and lots of packing in here to keep these safe. So this is a veitchii crossed with lowii crossed with robcantleyi. So you can see that. So again, let's take the label off this time. First off, so we've got that ready, like that. And then we'll take, we'll close the lid down. We can use it as something to put the plants on. So again, we'll just get away. Like I say, the packing is absolutely excellent on these. That first one came out absolutely beautifully, no damage at all. The packing itself kept away from the actual plant traps themselves, so it didn't do any damage, and the whole lot's been really carefully wrapped and separated in the box. So again, they're not wobbling around, not bouncing around and damaging each other. Again, this one's wrapped in cling film. Just let's find the opening. There we go. Now you can get a variety of sized plants from Scotland Carnivorous Plants. So obviously the smaller you get, the cheaper they are, the bigger they are, the more expensive. So very obvious really. I'll take his little inflatable ring off. I do like that, it's a really neat idea. And here again we'll just slightly move the, so we'll work out how he's got himself stuck together. Carefully pull these apart. One little trap. Oh, okay, let's do it that way around. Good. zoom out. I'll show you the actual traps on this. I might have to pause a moment just while I unpick the leaves on this one. Okay, that took a bit of picking apart. I don't know whether that happened in transport or actually when they were packed, but it was, you know, they kept them nice and safe. But also wanted to get the nice new growth trap clear. If I had to lose a trap, I'd lose the older one. But again, this is a lovely little specimen we've got here. Lovely colouring there on that peristome, and a nice size little plant here. So again, that was veitchii crossed with lowii crossed with robcantleyi, and that's a really nice looking little plant, so I'm really pleased with that one as well. And like I say, they've all come through perfect. The little tendrils with the little traps on the end here, they look absolutely beautiful, no damage there at all. So again, I'll take the soil covering off after this. I won't bore you with that. So again, more packing. So what do we have next? So we've got Nepenthes spectabilis here. So I actually got a pure species on this one because it looked really nice. I think the one I was actually after they didn't actually have, so I picked this one up instead. Oliver was really helpful and he suggested this one. He said it's just as nice. I think I was after one with mirror in it. So there we go. So again, let's carefully unpick this. Let's find the opening. And again, this is beautifully wrapped. I think it's the first time I've actually got this many plants in one place. I've bought a few online before now, places like eBay, got some really nice specimens from there. I think I showed you in a previous video, I got 3 quite large Nepenthes recently from a really nice guy on eBay. I've bought some plants from before. In fact, they're the ones you've seen in some of my previous indoor videos, some really, really nice specimens there. They're obviously a lot bigger than these, but they cost a lot more than these as well. But obviously you're paying for the size of the plant, and also for a lot of this you're paying for the rarity of the actual plant itself. There are a number of other factors that dictate what the cost of, you know, a particular plant will be. Seed grown ones tend to cost more than the sort of the cultured ones. So this one's quite a small little plant. Again, take his little ring off here. And we'll just rearrange his traps, and I'll show you this one as well. So like I say, this one's spectabilis. Again, that's a nice little plant, a lovely colouring on the traps there. That's what really took me towards this one. I like that really green and the dark speckling, look really, really nice. So again, that's a lovely little plant there. It'll grow into a really nice specimen in a bit of time. which I'm prepared to go with. You know, obviously I say it's cheaper this way if you get small ones. So poke him in there. Cuts don't get a label in, so I don't want to forget what I've got here. Put the label there. Right, let's move on to the next one. So we've got here, this one's Nepenthes spathulata crossed with ampullaria. I think I've got that right. Again, looking through all the ones they have on the site, I always after something a little bit different. So I've got some fairly basic ones. I've got some more exciting ones, as you've seen some of the videos. But you know, I was after something just a little bit different, either a different shape to the actual traps. So rather than just the fairly standard sort of fairly straight down sort of pictures. Yeah, I was after something a little bit different, and also something with a bit of different colouring. So things with, you know, pronounced colouring on the peristome. That's why I recently got that veitchii I did, because it had some beautiful colouring on its peristome. I like to do a similar sort of thing when I pick up new Sarracenias as well for the greenhouse. You know, I've got a lot of Sarracenias now. There are quite a lot, I mean lots of different crosses and hybrids out there. And you could spend an awful lot of money and an awful lot of time actually picking them all up. But, you know, these days I want something, you know, sort of wow or different from what I've got before. So that's why I picked up some of the ones I have done recently with, you know, considerably different colouring or different shape to the traps, or, you know, things like that, just to give a bit of variation. So again, like all the others so far, these are beautifully wrapped. Just be a bit careful here when I wrap this around the top. What I'll do is I'll add some photos as I show these off as to what the parents will actually look like. Now this one unfortunately doesn't actually have any traps open at the moment to show you what it's going to be, so just have to rely on sort of the stock photo I put on. I'll bring this round and I'll show you a bit closer. Again, nice little sized plant for what I paid. Got a nice little trap coming here, so that should be fine. And again, there's no damage to this. It's absolutely beautifully wrapped in these very delicate tendrils here. All look absolutely perfect. Again, this one was spathulata, ampullaria. So again, lovely little specimen there. I'm really pleased with that one as well. Let's just again get the label stuck into the pot, and we'll deal with the masking tape later. We've gone to the next one. Leave bits on the table. Okay, so we got a spectabilis crossed with bongso. I think I pronounced that last bit right. Now this looked like on the website a really nice looking little plant, and I think this was one that Oliver recommended as being, I think it's relatively cheap and a really nice looking hybrid. That's like quite a new hybrid that's come out. sellotape work over here. Again. So these are all going to go on to my windowsill collection. There are lots and lots of Nepenthes that seem to be perfectly happy on windowsills. All the ones I've got seem to be doing really well. And that's not just the fairly bog standard ones like my Alata and my Linda. Although Linda likes it a little bit more shady than Alata, prepared to put up with. A lot of the other ones I've bought last year and some this year really are thriving on the windowsill, doing really, really well. So, and there are other channels on YouTube where they specialise in the sort of plants you can get for windowsills and the ones that are happy on that environment. This is a little bit of a smaller one compared to the others. A bit of a smaller pot on this one. Again, I'll bring it round so we can see it in the camera a bit better. So again, some nice little traps here that have transported absolutely perfectly. You can begin to see some of the little bits of colouring on the peristome there. A little picture there on the tip of the tendril that looks like it's absolutely perfect. Like I say, this one is spectabilis crossed with bongso. So like I say, a bit of a smaller plant this one, but looked like it was going to get into a really nice specimen, so I'm really pleased with that one as well. Like I say, this is a bit different from the other purchases I did recently, which I showed you, which were much bigger specimen plants. Obviously you do pay a lot more for them. Last bits of packing. So what we've got in here. This is a bigger one than I think most of the others I got. So just check this. So this one's a spathulata crossed with ampullaria, and this is a green variety. I did actually get one which was speckled, which looked really nice. I mean, yes, I've got two basically of the same, but the green one, certainly the sort of the parent or the actual image that I got, and also the sort of stock images, the contrast in terms of the green colour was really quite stunning compared to a lot of other ones. I mean, I've got a lot of sort of reddy coloured, reddy brown coloured actual traps on a lot of my plants. My veitchii recently I got is a little bit different in terms of colouring, but again a lot of them are that sort of fairly dark brown, whereas this one was an absolutely almost like an electric green by comparison. It was really, really nice looking. But I also really like the look of the speckled one, because again the contrast between the really bright green and the dark black speckling, yeah, it just was, yeah, it just was the sort of thing you look at and go, oh, that looks really, really nice, I think I'll have that. I mean, obviously this all depends on personal taste. I mean, yeah, what I like in terms of colour and shape and things like that. Other people might go, oh, that's boring, why did you go for this? Now I have got one in here which has been I really want one of those for a very long time. We'll get on to that one in a bit, hopefully. Just a bit further down the bottom. So this was a bit of a bigger specimen. This was actually a hanging basket specimen. I didn't necessarily need it as a hanging basket one, but that just happened to be the size that it came in. I was happy to get a smaller one. Like I say, they happened to have this one available, and you know, they did me a good deal on this one with one of the other ones as well. So let's get off there. Okay, we'll take this little safety ring off him. Get this out of the way, and I'll show you in a bit more detail. Again, this is transported absolutely perfectly. There we go. So come round. And there we have that one. So what I liked about this was this, like I say, really bright green, and the dark mottling inside the trap was really nice. The speckled version of this, the trap is this bright green, and then there's the speckling on the outside, which looks so beautiful. There's a slightly older trap, slightly bent up lid, but that doesn't really matter. And then we've got a lovely new one coming here, absolutely perfect again. So again, that's quite a decent sized one in a little hanging basket. I mean, I won't put it actually hanging anywhere, so I should probably take the water tray off this and keep it in the water tray as I usually do. But that's really nice. And again, there you go, that's spathulata crossed with ampullaria, and this is the all green variety. So again, that's another lovely plant I've got there. So again, we'll just slip the label in there, put that to one side, and dig a bit more into the box. I think there's another couple to come out of here, maybe 3. Let's have a look. So we've got here so this one is burgidgeae crossed with veitchii. This one doesn't seem to actually have a label other than what's on a label stuck on the bubble wrap. So hopefully there's a label inside, otherwise, you know, I have labels I can write my own if necessary. Not a problem. I hope this unpacking is on camera, though. The unpacking is possibly not the most exciting part of this whole process. Actually seeing the plants is the bit that's probably more interesting. But I just thought I'd share this excitement with you. I mean, it was a bit late last night when the actual package arrived, so I actually delayed undoing it until this morning so I could actually catch it on camera for you guys. And it's been really difficult to wait that 24 hours and not rip the box open and start pulling my plants out. So again, this one is beautifully wrapped again. I have to find somewhere of recycling all this plastic wrap. I guess it's useful stuff in this respect for covering the plants up, but it's possibly not so environmentally friendly these days. Now this is looked really nice on the website. Again, it's quite a small little specimen in a little bit of a smaller pot. Sort the leaves out. I'll come around and show you this one. burgidgeae. This one got some quite nice red colouring on this, some red tinging on the leaves. And as you can see from that little trap there, it's going to have quite a nice little striped peristome. It's got quite a lot of sort of hairs down that side of it as well. This colouring is perfectly normal. I was a bit concerned with some of my other plants started to get quite coloured up, but most of the people I spoke to actually turned out says no, they will do that in a bit of sun. It's perfectly normal, nothing necessary to be worried about unless you actually see obvious scorching. Hopefully that's focusing okay. So again, little plant, but I'm really pleased with that one. So again, that one was burgidgeae crossed with veitchii. Oops, I went a bit out of shot there. So yeah, it's another little beauty there. Must remember that's the one that hasn't got a label. That's a light. I'll just take the label off the bubble wrap and stick it to the outside of the pot. That probably won't stick because it's damp. Right, I think there'll be one more, and this is the one that I really wanted, and it's also the most expensive of all the ones in this pot, so hopefully that's not too off shot or anything like that, being sat on the top of the box. And just check. It might flare a bit, the exposure on the camera. So this is my Nepenthes hamata. So this is a pure one. It's the really toothy one you can get. So I've really been looking forward to this one. Since I saw pictures online of these, I've just been so in awe of the actual beauty of this particular one. And again, for something different, you can't get much more different than hamata in all honesty. I mean, there are some nice hamata crosses, and they have some of the traits of the hamata parent in terms of the toothiness, but they tend to lose a bit. I mean, like I say, some of them are really nice, and I was very tempted to get hamata cross while I was at it, because it was quite toothy in its actual after the cross, but I thought perhaps that's being a bit samey with a genuine hamata. Again, we've got lovely bubble wrap, or lovely wrapping around here. Now this one does have, or should have, some really nice traps already on her, which hopefully have been well protected in transport. Everything else has, so I'm hoping this one the same. This is so exciting. Make it easy to come off. Oh, losing a bit of the actual soil. I can see how she looks really beautiful in here. see a few more turns of this and we'll have all this off, and you also get to see what a really, really nice plant this is. I think this was the only one left they had in this size. They had some smaller ones, but in fact, you know, I actually got Oliver's recommendation. You know, you could get a smaller one for about £20–30 cheaper. I sort of asked him, did he think it was worth it for what the actual size difference was, and he said no, and sort of showed me some pictures of it, and I thought, no, it's going that little extra for the bigger one. I think I will. I mean, this was by far away the most expensive of all the ones in this purchase set, just because it is a much rarer one. And you know, you can get these online, but they are very expensive from anywhere basically. Two life rings on this one. Around, and this looks so beautiful, and that is a really, really nice sized plant, this one. There you go. The toothiness on that is just beautiful, and the hairs on, so you can get the hairs on the lid. Well, it is, after I've got them all unboxed, I'll actually go around a little bit closer with the camera not on the tripod. We'll take a few more close-ups of this. Try zooming on this as we do it. This may not work. Oh, there we go. So that toothiness is just beautiful. I mean, that is just really quite unique in all the Nepenthes. And there are some other ones which do have some tooth do have some toothiness around them, but it's, I think, the most pronounced on hamata of any of them. But that is really, really nice. I am so pleased with that specimen. That is, I mean, the plant itself, it's not a massive plant, but for its size, I mean, this has got 4 really good sized traps on it. I mean, for the size of the plant, I mean, if you compare it against I mean, plant size wise, I mean, we're probably looking similar to, you know, maybe this one, and yet the traps by comparison are, you know, sort of double or more. So like I say, that's hamata. Let me just get you the actual one. So it's that hamata, or a couple of different hamata clones. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. Again, I'll put this in here. I'll tidy these up and take the compost covering off, and then I'll come back and show you a little bit closer. Interesting compost they use. I think it has sort of volcanic rock or something in it. I'm not quite sure, I can't remember exactly what it's called. There we go, that is everything in there. So I hope that was nice. Like I say, I'll pause now and I'll come back when I've tidied them up and I've got them in the tray so you can see a bit closer. Well, that's all the packaging tidied up, and I've got all the compost retaining tape off them now, so we'll get a little bit closer. So this first one was the burgidgeae veitchii. Like I say, it's only quite a little small plant at the moment, but I think it has potential to be really nice, this one. And then we got spathulata, robcantleyi. And this one does look really nice, even in this sort of young state. This one also has little hairs on the top of its pitchers. It's already looking like it's got some really nice peristome colouring will come on that one. And a nice little plant. And we got veitchii crossed with lowii, crossed with robcantleyi. And again, this one looks, even with its little young traps here, we're already getting some really nice colouring on the peristome there, some striping, and again, it's got some lovely hairs down that sort of midrib there. So yeah, another lovely little plant. I do like the leaves on these type, which are almost a little round, and then you get a little tendril off it rather than sort of the long thin leaves. And then we've got spectabilis. Just noticed there is actually a young little trap here. It's not open yet, but this one looks like it's going to be really nice, and should start getting traps that look a bit more like this one at the back here. Okay, we'll go a bit close on that one. Some nice, should have some really nice green body and some dark colouring on this one when it gets a bit older. Then we've got spectabilis crossed with bongso. Now this looked really nice in the picture. It's still quite young on this one, it's quite a small little plant, so it's a bit difficult at this stage to just tonally colouring down, or the brightness down there. It's going to be a little difficult to tell what it's going to be like for a bit, but it's already starting to show some coloured flecks on the peristome there. So I'm really excited as to what that one's going to end up looking like, given what the parent plants do. This was the spathulata, ampullaria. This is the all green one. Like I said, this is the speckled one. I got the all green one. Oliver was very kind. He actually let me have this little plant for free because it's only a little one, and I really wanted the speckled one as well. So I'm really looking forward to when this one actually starts to produce some little traps to see how it compares in terms of the speckling on the outside compared to the all green variety. Like I say, this is the spathulata ampullaria, hope I pronounced that right, which is the all green one. Let's just move the tray along a bit. As you can see here, this is an example of its all green trap. Looks really nice. It's got a lovely, really bright green peristome there, so we can sway the camera to focus a bit better on that one. And the colouring inside looks really nice. So I'm really pleased with that one. That's a really nice big specimen. That one's not quite so green, but the peristome itself is still really dark green, even if the actual trap is going a little bit red now. So I'm really pleased with that one. And then finally, the one that I really wanted, which was my hamata. And like I say, this maybe a bit close for the camera. Let's go a bit further away and we'll zoom in on this one. I mean, just look at the teeth on that. They just look absolutely awesome. And the hairs. I mean, look at that. And even the colouring on the lid there is just so beautiful. Like I say, it's not a massive plant, but the traps it's got currently on this are just utterly beautiful, I think. Again, we'll just go in a bit closer on this one, so seems way the camera to actually focus. There we go. So again, that looks... Okay, we'll lock the focus on that. That I think looks so nice. So there you go, that's the unboxing of Nepenthes I got from Scotland Carnivorous Plants. In terms of price, you know, things vary a bit from, you know, some of them were £12, some up to about £30, £36. The hamata was a lot more, but to be quite honest, given the one I've got, it was worth every penny of it, to be quite honest, for that specimen. That's really beautiful. Yeah, I think those prices are very reasonable compared to other sites I looked at in the UK, and the quality of the plants I think is absolutely excellent. I mean, yeah, some of these, like I say, are small, but they will grow into really nice specimens. And to be honest, that's half the fun of growing these sort of things, is actually start them small and then actually see them develop. Yes, it's nice to have some sort of show plants, let's say, or specimen plants, but actually it's the fun of growing them as well. I mean, I cannot fault the quality of these plants or fault the packaging. Not a single plant was damaged in the slightest in the packaging, so, you know, absolutely perfect in that respect. I mean, you could argue one of the lids was slightly bent, but if that was all it was, then everything else was absolutely perfect, not a problem at all. No broken leaves, no new sort of pictures on any of the tendrils damaged or anything. They all came perfectly hydrated. They came really quickly, basically next day with the service. Cannot fault it. So, you know, if you want to get some plants and you live in the UK, I couldn't more highly recommend Scotland Carnivorous Plants. Like I say, the guy in charge, Oliver, was really helpful in basically sending me a load of photos of the plants I was going to receive, because it really is difficult to, you know, when you look at the plants online, you get the sort of stock photos from the suppliers of these things, and they look fantastic, spectacular, but you don't quite know what you're going to get. And, you know, for some of these, you think, if you were to see just that and then you were to get quite a small one, you might be a little bit disappointed. But to actually see what you're going to get, the actual plant you're going to get, and to see what it's going to grow into, I think really helps. So, you know, 10 out of 10 for Oliver for doing that for me. That's been absolutely fantastic. And, you know, I will certainly be considering getting some more plants from him again when I've got enough space on my windowsill to actually put some more in. So like I say, I hope you guys found it interesting. I'm absolutely overjoyed with what I've received now, and I should be going to find somewhere to put all these. And yeah, hope to show them off again in maybe a few years' time when they've grown a bit bigger, and you'll be able to start to see some of the parent sort of traits coming through more clearly. So thank you for watching. If you like this, do give me a thumbs up, like this video. Do think about subscribing to my channel. Do give me any suggestions that you have for future videos or for current plants I have. And yeah, thank you for watching. I will leave you with my favourite so far.